the interesting effect that or experience that I had was when I got Popeyes, and the community, my community, it was really interesting to I'm Barbadian. I'm from Barbados. I've moved to the States when I was 10. So we're immigrants, my whole family, we all moved. And so there's a different experience, a different African-American experience. I had to kind of learn what that was when my family moved here. But the backlash that I got was from the African-American community. And I recognized, I had the CEO of Popeyes and the man who came up, with the campaign, and them all calling me to see how I was doing. And I was like, well, if it wasn't this black girl, it would have been another black girl. So I'm not, and I also felt that there's always going to be an issue. Someone will always find an issue with anything that you do. There's always going to be one or two or 10 or 1,000 people out there that are going to have an issue. So the checks were cashed, and we're now looking at 10 years of a very, very successful campaign that I'm very proud of, and I recognize that with all the people who had issues with it, that there were a huge number of people who appreciated seeing my face. And if it wasn't my face, it would have been some other African-American face.
They were having issues that you were doing a chicken commercial? Or
yeah. Yes.
Well, we love chicken.
Yeah, we do.
But not in public.
You have. If you were to go online right now and look at Popeye's Lady, and the 10 years ago when it came out, there were people were in an uproar of, why are they gonna have a black woman? It's like, well, we eat chicken. And we would have had an issue if it was a white man. We would have had an issue if it was, there was always going to have been an issue. But that was the thing that I sort of had to let it sit in me and sort of navigate that and recognize, okay, how do I really feel about this? And I'm like, I don't, there are people who are going to have issues regardless. But that was it. I'm the only person of color on the set. For the last 10 years. Actually, no. After the first year, with the first commercial that was shot, and there was a big, outcry, or it wasn't a big outcry, it was just a bunch of people bitching about, not happy with it. They did have a woman who worked for Popeyes, Pat. She was fantastic. They had her on the set. So what I have learned is that I have to speak up when I don't feel like it will be what I'm saying will be received. And I have to come up against someone saying, but I'm not racist. I've never, so I have to navigate that. And I just learned how to navigate that. And it's just by me being respectful and saying, you can do what you need to do. I'm just telling you from my experience and in my perspective, if you don't want to have people coming after Popeyes, you're not gonna say it that way. You're not gonna write it that way. And then I just have to do my job. So, so I leave the responsibility for that on them. Although, I was watching, it was Cat Williams that one of his last shows, and he dogged me out. He said he hated the Popeyes Lady, and I'm watching it and laughing and enjoying it, and then my feelings got hurt. And so I watched it again, and I thought, he doesn't know me. He doesn't know who I am. And in being the Popeyes person, I went to an audition. They didn't find me at a mall. They didn't see me walking through the airport. I'm an actor. I showed up. I had the lines down. I
I
auditioned.
auditioned for it.
You did?
Me too.
You did?
I did too. So congratulations.
Congratulations. I thought I did a good job.
Oh, yeah.
I was waiting for my call back.
Yeah. Well, I showed up. The audition was on a Saturday. The audition was on a Saturday, and that was a surprise because I never get a Saturday audition. Thankfully, I had work the next week. I was going to be on a set for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They were shooting in Atlanta, where my family is from, on Thursday, Friday. I didn't read something in the thing that said that Wednesday was a travel day, so it looked like I was going to lose it. I had showed up for the audition, and I got a call on the set from my agent saying, okay, so you booked it. At the time, we didn't know that it was going to be we knew that a lot was going to happen. We just didn't know. I didn't know it was going to go, as long as 10 years. And so overnight, my manager, kind of got on the phone with the agent and said, you know what? They're either going to they have to wait. She can't fly out. I'm working on Wednesday, so they're either going to have to hold for her, or they're going to have to, move on, recast it. Right? Well, they held for me. And my husband gave me the best advice. He said, show up, shut up, do the job. He's like, and he said, don't apologize anymore. I already apologized. He's like, don't apologize. Just going, I shot 15 spots in 2 days. It was my first time ever using a teleprompter, all of that stuff. So, I've had to fight for myself. So, I'm really proud. And I also recognize that there was a lady who came to me. I was in Atlanta, and her husband was running for sheriff, and she came up to me and she hugged me, and she was crying, and she said, I want to let you know something, that you have a mission. And I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, you know what? She had spent some time in the hospital getting her hip replaced. And she said, and I was laying in that hospital, and every single time you showed up on that screen, you brought joy to my life. And I want to thank you for that. So if it's just that, then I'm doing what I need, I'm doing what God put me here to do. And all of the other stuff, all the people who have issues with it, well, people have issues with everything. And so, I've been able to take care of my family. And I'm also able to work on the outside because nobody knows, and that is my doing, in that the way that I navigated all of that was to be very specific about how I was used, and knowing that, they wanted me to sing, and I was like, no, that's what I own, and I knew that I wasn't going to give that to them, because I knew that if I give that to you, then you're going to own it, and you will use it in whatever way you choose, and it may not be my choosing. So I don't sing, I never sang. I just stood up for myself as best I could. Yeah. Thank you, Charles.
So